get the Zeppelin. Reason that the Zeppelin's good is you can actually maneuver around the warden, and you won't lose your hero to Shadow Strike and stuff. I believe, yeah, see, he dies. But yeah, generally a Zeppelin's pretty handy just because you can actually save peasants. Because, you know, Fan of Knives doesn't actually hit the, it doesn't hit the Zeppelin, so you're pretty safe that way. I don't know why these peasants were actually walking the long way around to get to his base, but whatever. Yeah, I'm really not sure what those are doing out there. I didn't notice that before. Anyways, as you can tell, he's actually coming back again with even more hunters. At this point, you should be building glaives. You want to be building glaives just by the time you almost hit low upkeep. So basically, you want to glaive yourself into 50 food, and then you just kind of want to chill from there. More Fan of Knife Harass, obviously. Generally, that's going to be your main choice, especially if you're going to be doing this tier 1 strategy. If you're going to be doing a later game strategy, Shadow Strike is never a bad option. Reason that Shadow Strike is good is because what you're going to be doing is you're actually going to be like hero sniping a little more, as opposed to going after the peasants. So that generally ends up being a little more handy. Don't Suicide Wisp towers, just watch that. Watch your rallies. You'll notice that the Night Elf player is the one getting the Zeppelin. LOL. But right now Sky's just getting owned. Huntress are kind of dying a little quickly, but the reason that Huntress are great in this situation is because bouncing attack kind of owns the peasants even when they're repairing. Really, I don't know why Sky is really just not doing anything. I mean, he doesn't even have units, he doesn't have footies, he's not even building a blacksmith. Generally, when you're up against the strategy, you actually want to get rifles, so you can hide behind your towers and actually snipe something. Water elementals are not good enough to take on hunters on their own, especially this many. Well, there aren't that many anymore, but you know what I mean. Smart move by dropping the circlet just to pick up some moon juice. Generally, you don't want to maneuver the ancient protectors in range of towers. You can just use it to pick off the odd unit and the odd peasant that gets in the way. Rally Jack if they're hiding behind their expo towers. Basically, you just waste the repair money and you make them have to build more peasants, and actually, it's just kind of a pain in the ass. Glaives are actually starting to be purchased. Once again, the shop, very important. Don't ever forget to build a shop. Shops are pretty key to this strategy because otherwise you're going to be running around with a weak Dark Ranger like the whole game. Loss of Wisp at the tree. Bummer. But yeah, shop is good because you get the clarities, and the reason clarities are important is because it takes 2 mana points from the Moonwells to restore 1 point of mana on your hero. So you kind of want to use the clarities as much as possible because they're pretty good mana regen. I mean, they regen 100 mana. It doesn't really take that long, but you know, it's a lot better than waiting for your Moonwells to regen. So that's one thing to keep in mind. When they start actually getting a Zeppelin, that's the time when you actually want 1 or 2 archers. LOL at the Sapper, that was just kind of a weak attempt. Especially because the Ancient Protectors will auto-attack that instead of the Town Hall. But, yeah, that's one thing you need to watch out for. As I said before, glaives, one thing that you actually can do with the Zeppelin is you can actually, you can do glaive drops at their main as well. Because obviously, if you look at Sky's base, I know there's action going on. Water Elemental attacking Ancient Protector, go, go, go. But anyways, right now you can see that Sky's, the top half of his base is weakly towered, there is no tower. So you can actually glaive drop there, and they can militia, and you can just go /care. Because their militia aren't going to do jack against, air units. So basically what you're going to end up doing is making them waste. Well, you're going to make them waste a whole bunch of gold and wood, just because you're forcing them to militia. Also, you're being a pain in their ass. So, level 6 is basically GG, because all you really have to do is summon the Vengeance, and fan of knives, a few peasants, and then you have invulnerable units running around killing towers, which is a lot harder to kill than, you know, just regular units, especially when you have a 1200 HP summoner with kick-ass damage output. So, yeah. Once again, Zeppelin not being very useful with glaives. Oh, there we go. But, really, what Sky's doing with the Zeppelin is really not, you know, as effective as he probably hoped. It's a little more effective early on than it is now. It's like way late to actually be using the Zeppelin because he could have saved his hero. But that's not my problem. So, as I said, invulnerable units running around killing stuff. This game is pretty much over. And glaive drops. Basically, when this game ended was was a while ago. But as human, you can always be hopeful that something wins it out for you. Oh, the reason that Soju didn't actually build any archers is because he pretty much has the summon. So, yeah, that owns Zeppelins on its own. And the only hope that Sky has of winning is if Soju DCs. He could actually attack, move everything, and win. Wait for the Zeppelin to die. Bam. Generally, you actually want to focus the Zeppelin a little bit first. Make it weak. I mean, it only takes like a couple volleys of archer fire to make it weak, and then they're pretty much screwed. Because then they're like, oh my god, it might die, and then if they start actually trying to save units that way, it's going to go down. So get game 2, pause at the 45-second mark. As I said, these games are quick because, really, that's how the warden works. Either it's over, like, early, or it just kind of never ends. I didn't want to do one of the never-ending ones because that was just a pain in the ass. Or it would have been a pain in the ass. And plus, it doesn't really teach anything. It's like, well, that sort of worked. Here's what's happening now. But yeah, generally, when you're countering the fast expo, you want to end it a little earlier than before they start getting tanks. Because when they start getting tanks on this map, it's a real pain in the ass. Especially because they can switch to mort drops with the Zeppelin, which is even harder to do because tanks, you can actually see them coming, and with the Zeppelin, I mean, they can't hold as many tanks as they can. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I forget how many spaces mortar teams take up, but not the point. Wait, no, siege tanks take way more space. Never mind. But yeah, you can pretty much Zeppelin 4 morts and take out their main, and then you can send a few tanks over to the other end of the map, and then just kind of do harassment gayness, and yeah. Basically, as a human, you have like limitless options as to what you can do. You can pretty much go workshop and mass and win. But yeah, anyways, game 2, little DC's point of view, 45-second mark, unpause, 3, 2, 1, unpause. But yeah, the reason this is so hard for Night Elf is actually because, you know, if they don't fast expo, they can always just tower push you. At tier 2, which is actually kind of a pain in the ass. Of course, you can always go mass hunts, blah blah blah, and try and seal them in early game. But generally, what ends up happening is they just kind of hide in the back of their base and pick off the odd unit with the with water elementals, and then they wait for you to leave, and then they tower you, and then it's kind of over. And it's a lot harder to defend tower pushes unless you have archers. So I mean, yeah, sure, you're going double AOW, so it's a little easier to pump out archers, but